To minimize the amount of excess glue around the joint, 2 layers of masking tape are applied, approximately 2 to 3 millimeters either side of the joint on both sides and on the front edge. Clean the tongues and the edges of the joint with the isopropyl alcohol wipes. Each jointing kit includes 3 tongues that are pre-sanded ready for use in the joint. Usually they are supplied in the same decor as the kit itself, but as they are not visible after installation, it doesn't matter what color they are. For 600mm and 650mm worktops, use 2 tongues, and for 900mm breakfast bars, use all 3. Mix the adhesive. The adhesive and hardener are in a single sachet, separated by a divider. Once the divider is removed, the 2 components should be thoroughly mixed together, around 20 times. The divider itself is ideal for this. The adhesive is a 2-part acrylic adhesive that is color-matched specifically to each decor. Not all have the name of the decor on the pack. For instance, the adhesive for Volcano may be labeled as black. There will be a date stamped on the outside of the box. That is the use-by date of the adhesive. The date on the pack itself is the fill date. Snip the corner off the sachet to give a hole around 4 to 5 millimeters in diameter. That will be convenient to pipe the adhesive into the joint. As the adhesive starts to cure, the chemical reaction creates heat, and you will notice the sachet starts to get hot. Depending on the ambient temperature, you have up to 10 minutes working time with the adhesive. Because of this limited time, ensure that you have everything ready before you start to mix the glue. Pipe it into the groove on one side of the joint. Insert the tongues. Pipe adhesive into the other side. Pull the worktops together. Pull the 2 sides apart again to leave a 2 to 3 millimeter gap. Pipe an extra bead of adhesive into the gap. Pull the worktops together again and prepare to tighten the bolts. Here, the ratchet spanner is useful when working under the worktop. Adhesive should ooze out along the full length of the joint. Using a scrap of edging or something similar, lightly scrape the excess adhesive from the surface. Don't scrape too deeply, as the adhesive will shrink slightly as it cures. Remove the masking tape and leave to cure for a minimum of 45 minutes. Using the random orbital sander, go through the 3 grits of sandpaper, 120, 240 and 320. Always start the sander with the paper in contact with the surface. Work in a circular motion and keep the sander flat. Each time you change papers, work slightly wider than the previous grit. This sander has an extraction facility. If your random orbital sander does not have this, wipe the dust from the surface each time you change papers. Work in horizontal, then vertical sweeps, to make sure the sanding is even across the whole area. Clean the area of dust again. If this is left behind, it can affect the final stage of finishing. Apply water, and, using the red Scotch-Brite pad attached to the random orbital sander, follow a similar vertical and horizontal pattern of sanding to blend in the finish. Wipe down with a damp cloth and dry. Check the joint.